We're going to learn about AL plus a consonant, ALL not at the end of a root word, ANGE and ASTE. ANGE says ANGE. G, when followed by an E, I, or a Y, usually, but not always, uses its soft sound of J. It does in this case. So this is ANGE. ANGE. Angel. We can add other sounds in front of it without changing it. So this is change. CH says ch most of the time. We can add prefixes. Exchange. Range. We can add suffixes, and it doesn't change the sound. Ranger. Arrange. Notice that an A at the beginning of a word often schwas, which means it has a muffled sound. Strange. Danger. We can add other suffixes. Dangerous. We can add a prefix and a suffix. Endangering. ASTE at the end of a root word will have a long A sound. So this is aced, aced, paste. We can add a suffix to the end of the root word and it retains the long A sound. So we have pasted, haste, hasty. Remember that a Y at the end of a long word usually has a long E sound. Taste, tasty. Waste, wasted. Baste, basting. If you have ASTE not at the end of a root, it will usually have the short A sound. Notice in this word we have ASTE, but the in this case is part of the root word and is not a suffix added to a root word. So this word will have a short A sound and will be plaster, master, faster. Notice the root word of fast and we just added the suffix lasted, pastel. OI says oi, asteroid. In this word, we started with the root word of waste and added the suffix ed, so it stays wasted. Tasted. In this word, we have ASTE, but the A is grouped with another vowel. E and A together usually say E, so this word is Eastern. If you have AL at the end of a root word with more than one syllable, the AL will usually schwa because it's part of a Latin suffix. So the schwa sound is usually a muffled but sometimes an I sound. So this word is not going to be pedal because that's hard to say. So we say it pedal. OR says or, choral. These underlined letters will have their long sound. So fatal, metal, final. We can add suffixes and the AL retains the muffled schwa sound. Finalist, legal, metal. OY says oi, loyal, loyalist. Again, this does not apply to words where the A comes after another vowel. In this case, EA together say E, so we have the word steel. If you have AL plus another consonant at the end of a root word, the A will have its broad A sound of So this word is salt, exalt, scald, bald. We can add suffixes and the A will retain the broad A sound. Balder, balding, exalt, exalted, exalting. If you have AL plus a consonant not at the end of a root, it can be either the short A sound of or the broad A sound of The short A sound is more common. Here are some words where it will have the broad A sound of The underlined vowels will use their long sound. Also, always. Notice AY says A and the S has its second sound of Z. This O will schwa and say almond. Like I said, the short A sound is more common when there's an A plus a consonant not at the end of a root. So if you're trying to decide which sound to try, use the short A sound first. Then try the broad A sound if it doesn't make a word you recognize with the short A. Album, ally, astronaut. AU says albino, album, falcon. Notice this O may schwa and take on an sound, just like in the word almond. if you're looking at a word that has A-L-L in it, and you're trying to decide, do I want the short A sound of ah or the broad A sound of ah, remember these rules. If A-L-L comes at the end of a root, try the broad sound. If A-L-L comes before another syllable that isn't a suffix, try the short sound. For example, here we have A-L-L at the end of the root of the word call, so we use the broad sound of ah. Here we have calling. We can add suffixes to the end of the root and it doesn't change the sound. Calling, caller. Here we have A-L-L followed by another syllable that is not a suffix. So we are going to try the short sound. In this case, we have a capital letter because this is the name Sally. Tally, ballot, palette, gallon, and gallop. If you have A-L-L before another syllable that isn't a suffix, it's going to use its short sound. Like in this word, this A will schwa to be a muffled sound, ballad. O-W is going to use the long O sound of this word, gallow. This A will also schwa, gallant. This C is followed by a Y, which means it will use its soft sound of S. Also, this A will schwa to be a muffled sound, so fallacy. So again, in all these words, we had A-L-L not at the end of the root, and the syllable that came after it was not a suffix. So instead of using the broad A sound of all, we used the short A sound of al. If you have a word that starts with A-L-L, it often, but doesn't always, schwa. Again, a schwa is a muffled sound that usually sounds like especially at the beginning of a word, but sometimes has a short I sound in other places in a word. So in these words, we're going to try the muffled schwa sound of first. A lot. O-W will say ow here. Allow. Allure. Allege. This G followed by an E uses its soft sound of J. We can add suffixes. Alleging. Alliance. This C uses its soft sound because C followed by an E, I, or a Y will always have the sound of S. Here are some words where we use a short A sound for a word beginning with A-L-L rather than a schwa. Allergy. Allocate. If you have a word ending in A-L-L-Y and it's made up of the suffix A-L plus the suffix L-Y, it's going to sound like ali because the suffix A-L at the end of a word schwas, so that's the ul, and then the li part. Right here we can see that this won't apply because our root word is real. So this word, even though it ends in A-L-L-Y, is actually the word real plus the suffix li. So here we have really. In this word, we have the word equal and the A-L schwas, equally, legally, clinically, finally, totally, locally, basically, brutally. This C will have its soft sound of S, centrally. OR says or, formally, globally. So if the word ends with A-L-L-Y and there isn't another vowel in front of it, try pronouncing it as ul-li, ali, because ali is hard to say. If you found this useful, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and spread the word.